Hello, everybody. How are you? Good morning. So, I'm exhausted. I am flat out exhausted. And I feel like not just toast, but burnt toast. You guys know what's happening tomorrow. I got to move. So, I'm going to be working all day and all night tonight and then moving tomorrow. So, I'm going to be just walking dead come Monday. But I'll be in a new place. So this is the last time you'll see this background. The next one you're going to see is going to be far different. It's going to be kind of bare walls, but give me about a month and I'll change that. But yeah, the move is going to definitely be happening. So it's early and I got time before work. And For One's Divination did a reading on Foodie, a long reading, and I would like to react to it with all of you. Like, I'm just trying to keep up with all the Foodie stuff. And Foodie, wherever she is, I think we can rule out that she's not simply in Canada building up the anticipation. So when she comes back, she's going to get the most views. Wherever Foodie is, she can't stream. Either she's not being allowed to or she just can't. So I don't know if she's in Kuwait. I don't know if she's in Canada, but she's in big trouble. We all know this. Something that you guys don't know that I just found out yesterday. So, girl world, you're going to love this. Put down your tea, put down your coffee, because trust me, this is good stuff. So there is a creator by the name of Atozy, Atozy. He's got a huge channel, almost 2 million subscribers. And Atozy covered Johnny Somali. For those that don't know who Johnny Somali is, Johnny Somali was a very problematic, offensive streamer who was going around to different countries and just being completely offensive, completely rude. I mean, just going out of his way to be rude. He went to China. I think he went to Japan and Korea, and he was acting all the way the fool. He did so many things, going illegally into construction sites. Also, I believe it was in China, there was a statue called the Comfort Woman. Back in World War II, women were taken and used as comfort women against their will. So a statue was made in their honor, and he was absolutely disrespecting the Comfort Woman statue, lap dancing on it, making out with it. He did so many things. And Johnny Somali got in big trouble, not once, but twice. The first time he got in trouble, they let him off. The second time, well, let's just say he's in big enough trouble that I don't think he's going to be streaming anymore. So Atozy covered all of Johnny Somali, and he finally got a hold of Foodie. And I looked at his video that he did on Foodie, and within 2 hours, it had 75,000 views. I don't know where it is now, but there are people outside of girl world that are taking notice of the whole Foodie thing and covering it. And Foodie, your goose is cooked. It is cooked, like it's getting attention. You manifested that you want to go viral. Girl, you're going viral. Just not the way you wanted to. But here's the irony of it all. It's what she's done in Kuwait. It's just meaning trouble for Chantal Marie, not Foodie Beauty. Foodie Beauty was always a made-up persona for YouTube. But the troubles that she's done in Kuwait, that falls back on Chantal, not on Foodie Beauty. Like, if Chantal has always operated weird, like she's got the two personas and she kind of melded them into one thing, but she lives in Foodie Beauty and she ignores Chantal anyway. So you're going viral, Foodie. You're going viral. Okay, it's happening. And not the way you wanted to, but you wanted it. And what they say, be careful what you wish for. So this is a long reading for One's Divination. There's a lot of great information here. And for those of you that have never heard of One's Divination, y'all look down below in the description. I'll leave the original link there. And you can check out all of 4-1's Divination's content, check out her channel, sub up to her, leave her a comment, give her a like, tell her how much you appreciate her doing these readings on Foodie. So with that said, how about we just get into it? And I'll just shut up talking, because you guys know what I got going on today. But I want to sit down and do some readings on Foodie, catch up on some content before I get started. So let me just make sure I am where I need to be. Yes, I am. Perfect. All right, let's go.
How are y'all doing? I want to take a look at Foodie Beauty's current state right now, and I hope you'll excuse me. I'm getting my notes. I've got a couple of questions that I want to ask my cards today. I'm using the seventh sphere letter mom. I'm trying to get a good enough picture of it there. That's going to be from Labyrinthos if you want to check it out. And I'm also going to be using the Wildwood Tarot at some point whenever Spirit indicates that it is a good time to use the Wildwood Tarot. So I'm going to lead with the seventh sphere letter Ma first. My first question is, why has Foodie Beauty avoided going live or putting out recorded videos for so long? This is pretty darn unusual.
Before 4-1 gets deep into it, now that she's speaking on this, something that everybody else should know. Foodie's been going to her channel. She's gotten rid of certain content and she has unprivated other content, like her pre-Kuwaiti content. It's like she's trying to put those videos back out there to make a little bit of extra money. So yeah, she's still very much active on her channel. Like, she's doing what she can to get some money in hand, although she's not on Cameo anymore. So the only way I think she could make money is if she does private feeder requests, like off the internet, like off public eye.
People are saying the last time she took this long a break was like 2017 or something like that, like when she was first starting her channel. I wasn't here for that part of her existence on YouTube. So I want to do a portrait spread, a 3x3 card spread, and let's see what happens. I shuffle until Spirit asks me to stop. Ring. Commitment. This is also about a very tight cycle of doing the same thing over and over again without changing anything. There's another card in the Lenormand deck, if you will, that also describes cycles. It's the Stork card. But with the Stork card, there's this idea that gradual changes occur over time, migration patterns, so to speak. That's not the case here. Very tight patterns of doing the same thing over and over again. Committed. Oop, and I just dropped it. Dropped a commitment, but she can't. She wants to drop this commitment, but she can't. She's not allowed to. She has to stay in the same place. She cannot move. This is like feeling like trapped in a tight box, for instance. Maybe not literally, but figuratively speaking, this is someone who cannot move around very much. She is committed to this. Can also be quite literally seen as an engagement ring. Now, I know that the myth has finally been busted. They are, in fact, not legally married. And they were asking for $5,000 to show the marriage certificate. And we all know they would just print it. What did this came from the top. I was just describing to y'all about stork patterns of migration. Also, traveling someplace, quite possibly. We've got tree. I'm building the top row, and I'll be sure to take a picture of the cards and show them to you in post, okay? But I'm building the top row. That ring is the central theme. Now I've got tree. Coming after stork, these are long-rooted consequences coming to the surface, and she can't hide from these at all. There's the real possibility that even if she got away to Canada, that they will still extradite her if the charges are serious enough. If it's enough trouble for Canada to extradite her, they don't have to have an extradition treaty with Kuwait in order to send her back over there to deal with the consequences of her actions.
I'm looking at the card spread right now, and I'm looking at the cards. I'm trying to read like right to left, like what the pictures are telling me from right to left. So down here, we have the the dog, the bear, the scythe. In the middle, we have the lily, the ring, the birds. Top, we have the mice, the tree, and the stork. I'm getting a story out of this. There's a definite story here. So to me, like the birds, the ring, and the lily, this to me represents the fake Kuwait marriage, which, by the way, y'all, even if Salah and Foodie were not legally married, the fact that they were online portraying themselves as being married is a punishable offense. Even if it was all for YouTube and it wasn't real at all, which none of us think it is, if you're in Kuwait and you're online portraying yourself as a married couple and you're not, that is a punishable offense. That is a big no-no. So to me, the birds, the ring, and the lily signify like the fake marriage, this fake life that they were trying to portray in front of everybody. Down here, the scythe, the bear, and the dog. This represents to me the consequences of one's actions. Like I don't know, like the dog to me, this doesn't even look like a dog to me. This looks like a wolf because you got the full moon and you got this looks to me like a wolf, like hunt. You're being hunted, Foodie. To me, this feels like you're being hunted and the consequences are coming. And then the mice, the tree, and the stork. Uh, the F around the find out phase. That represents like you effed around, now you're about to find out. But that's how I'm reading from like right to left on each column.
So, quite possibly, it's not going to be enough. Oh, you know what I just heard? Chickens are coming home to roost no matter where she is in the world.
That's right, because Foodie, job well done. You want to be a bad girl? You're a bad girl. But you were a bad girl before you left Canada. But you enjoy being a bad girl, so you should be thrilled with the things going on now. You're not thrilled? This isn't what you wanted? Oh, it's a shame. So, Chantal, in 8 years, she managed to put herself in quite the pickle in Canada because there are unpaid taxes. Taxman is coming at her. They want to know where she is. And that situation could have been easily resolved had she just started doing the payment plan with the taxman and they would have left her alone. But she made quite the financial mess in Canada. And then she went to a whole nother country to get away from that mess. And she made an even bigger mess, a very legal mess, charges being brought against her. And that could have been avoided. All she had to do was just stay in Canada and take care of the financial stuff, and all would have been well. She could be still back in the villa with Pete's had she not left and done this nonsense over in Kuwait. And she knows what kind of person she is, and she knows that she's offensive and rude and whatnot, and yet she's going to go to a country where her behavior, if caught, is going to get her in serious trouble. And she's not the brightest bulb in the box, is she? No, not at all. So, like, you got two messes, Foodie. You got one in Canada and you got one in Kuwait. Like, talk about being between a rock and a hard place. And you made that. You made it, Chantal. It didn't have to go this way.
She can't avoid these consequences anymore. It doesn't matter if she's in Canada or someplace else, if she stayed behind in Kuwait. It doesn't matter. The consequences are here to bite her in the ass no matter what. Finally, the consequences are headed her way. Destruction. This is mice. This is slowly eating away at something over time, and this is landing in the future column, but this completes the first row.
Ooh.
So, cycles of bad behavior that have been rooted in over time, possibly that family tree has taught her quite a bit of this bad behavior, is eating away at who she is, eats away at her freedom, eats away at her mental and emotional stability. This is not something that she can run away from. The consequences are going to be severe no matter where she is in the world, is what I'm getting from that first row. Birds. This is a little bit interesting to me because I'm filling out the second row and birds lands underneath the stork. This is about people talking. Rose Thorne also described this card as reminding her of Twitter or.
Yep, Twitter peeps. Hey, Twitter peeps, look, there we are. There we are, Twitter peeps. There's the Twitter peeps, all the birds talking on the bird app. That's right.
What it was once Twitter, okay? But people are talking about this constantly. This is appearing in the past column, though. I'm building up the past column. People have been talking a little bit about where she's been, but as we've seen in just a few weeks, a few days for that matter, people have already moved on to other people. A couple of people I watched have moved on to Rose Blanchard, and I just did a reading on her. Other people have moved on to Anna O'Brien. They've moved on to Alicia Doherty or Doherty or however you say their last name. They've already moved on.
Mm-hmm.
All it took was Chantal leaving, and guess what? People are still making their livings. Girl World didn't depend on Foodie Beauty. She's not the queen of Girl World that she thought she was. This is eating away at a foundation that, as shaky as this foundation was, it's getting eaten away no matter what. I'm building the second row, and this is going to be the future column, is that her foundation, her security, her comfort is going to be eroded because, once again, she's not safe wherever she is in the world. She's going to get tracked down. It's as if what she and Salah did together is severe enough that Kuwait is going to say, we need to go after these people. In spite of the other things that are going on in the Middle East, this is like, I'm getting like, I've got like the debauchery charges are severe enough, like they flaunted the law enough that Kuwait possibly wants to make an example out of these two. It's not just.
And it's so funny and it's so weird how Johnny Somali, he was a problematic streamer and he was doing the most too. Absolutely doing the most, just going to different countries, causing a bunch of problems for every country that he visited, just going out of his way to be offensive to people, acting just shamelessly. And he got in serious trouble. And now he really can't stream. And now here comes Chantal. And she knows about Johnny Somali. And she's known about a few other streamers that have been problematic, that have gotten in trouble. And you would have thought that maybe something in her brain would click on and she would say to herself, maybe I need to calm down. Maybe I'm doing the most and I need to calm down, because if other countries are getting to a point where they have zero tolerance for the nonsense and they're going to make an example of somebody who comes in and they're way too public with being offensive, maybe I need to calm down because I'm in Kuwait and I got to behave myself. But she never did. She just kept pushing the issue. And she not only flew too close to the sun, she flew directly into it and she got burned. And that wouldn't have happened if she just behaved herself. But there's so many things that she's done over in Kuwait, breaking the laws and the regulations, filming people without their permission, filming children, which is a big no-no, the bad language, the gluttony. I heard on top of the charges, there's a thumb drive. There's an entire thumb drive with video clips on it, her filming the oil fields and the portraying of the marriage when it wasn't real. I mean, I'm sure the list of charges is going to be long. So I don't think she's going to escape the charges. It's just a matter now of what's going to happen. What is going to happen with these charges? Are they going to, if she's in Canada, are they going to extradite her? Is she stuck in Kuwait? I don't know. But obviously, wherever she's at, she can't go live. And remember, Chantal, remember, if you're watching this react, you remember, Just put this in your head. You hate Girl World. You hate us, but we told you to go home way before any of this happened, didn't we? People in the reaction community told you, Chantal, you need to go home. Didn't we say that to you? We said you need to go home. It doesn't make any sense to go to Kuwait and stay there. You're not happy. You're unhealthy. Like, it's affecting your money. Just go home. But yet, because we told you to go home, or we advised you to go home because it came from our mouths, you're like, I can't listen to them. I'm going to do what I want. Who are these haters to tell me what to do? The advice was there. You just didn't take it. You want to stay in Kuwait and act the fool and break the laws, and now you got to pay the consequences. For the first time in your life, you're having to deal with real consequences that you can't talk your way out of. You can't do the baby talk. You can't manipulate. And you may be sitting there crying right now, but understand that Girl World had nothing to do with you getting in trouble. You did this all yourself. You are the architect of your own life. You built it, and it's yours. We got nothing to do with it, ma'am. We told you to go home. You didn't. This is all on you. This is all created by you.
It's going to be Salah. It's going to quite possibly be Chantal as well. It doesn't matter where she goes. She's not going to be safe.
Nope.
So this is about at home. She learned, well, this is where she is presently in the moment. She is doing like a rapid cycle of emotions, is what I'm getting. There's not enough groundedness in the world to keep her from doing this tight loop of freaking out, trying to calm herself down, but then going back to freaking out once again because something else comes out when it comes to the investigation, when it comes to Girl World. She feels things slipping away from her. There are consequences coming from one angle that are unavoidable, and Girl World, her main source of income basically, is slipping away, and they're moving on to other things because you know what? There are a shitload of really interesting lolcows out there. She wasn't the market. She was a small part of this market, okay? Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense.
And when I get done with my move, when I get my internet, because I don't know how long it's going to take to get Comcast business in my new address, possibly 3 to 5 days, I'm going to be covering new people. I just can't focus on new people right now because of my move. Like, I got to get that going. I got to get online. And like those of you on my channel, I am going to be looking into new people. Y'all can give some suggestions in the comments and let me know who you'd like me to cover. And I'll definitely look into them. We'll get some fresh milk around here because Foodie is missing. Don't know how long she's going to be missing. And I want to keep things progressing on this channel. It's just that I happen to be caught in this move situation right now. But we're going to be moving forward. You know, that's just how it's going to be. I got a whole bunch of stuff planned once I get into the new place. I'm going to decorate it real nice. I'm going to like it. And we're all going to have fun. We are going to have fun. I'm going to have fun. We're all going to have fun together. Like this is a new beginning for me. And you guys are going to see the difference once I get to the new place. But we're moving on. We're bringing in some fresh milk. If Chantal is over there, if she can't stream or she's being stingy with going online, that's fine. We'll move on. We got to anyway, because at some point the story's got to end. But we're doing it.
Building the third and final row, we got Scythe. Ooh. People talking about this led to the end. People talking about all of what she's done in the past, all the gossip, got its way to the wrong people, if you will. And this is Chantal. This is the end of an era. She can't go back to how things were. Things had to come to a sudden stop, and quite possibly she had to flee. Or, if you want to take this from a certain angle, she wasn't able to flee. With that Scythe and that Stork being bookends, that could possibly, allegedly indicate that she was not able to leave Kuwait in time. Possibly. I'm not negating anybody who says that she is in Canada. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Canada can still send her right back to Kuwait if they decide that it's worth their trouble to do so, okay? And if Kuwait is dead set on making her and Salah examples, I there's a real good chance that Canada could push her back over there if she isn't there. But I'm just wondering, well, if this describes migration patterns, I'm wondering if she wasn't able to leave. That would be like profoundly stupid, or she just chose not to. You know what? She didn't want to let the haters win.
I know. I mean, when she found out about the charges, when Pause Kuwait put out their notice, they're saying, we're filing the paperwork on Monday. She had, I think, like 1 or 2 days to get out. And that final live stream that she did, she was in a panic. She was scared. And she was saying, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. If she wasn't smart enough to get on the next plane immediately, uh, it, I mean, she was scared. She should have gone. But if she stayed, well, that's on her. That is definitely on her. And for those that are saying, well, Rose, she didn't have the money. I don't believe that. Besides that, when you're a tourist, part of your tourist visa is you have to have a return ticket. So she had a return ticket. We know this. It's facts. She had a return ticket. In order to be accepted with your tourist visa, you have to have that return ticket. So the ticket was already bought. Now, I don't know if she needed like another seat. Maybe that was the problem. But I know that she's got money. Chantal has money. I've seen it in my tarot readings. She was squirreling money away. She's hoarding her money. I don't know how much she had, but she might have got enough for another plane ticket if she needed it. So if she had the money in hand and she didn't get a second seat and just get on the next red eye right away, she's an idiot.
People told her, go offline, go offline. Yeah, I could, but that would mean letting the haters win. There's something about that oppositional defiance disorder, if you want to call that. I call it just being a fucking brat. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about that kept her there, allegedly, supposedly. I'm absolutely willing to be proven wrong in this particular case. I, like many other people, have waffled between she's in Canada, ooh, she might be in Kuwait, but maybe she's in Canada, but she might be in Kuwait. That row is, that column, I should say, is quite possibly indicating that she did not make it out of time in time, allegedly. I could be wrong, okay? Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Here comes the bear again. This is interesting because the last time when I did a Foodie Beauty reading last, it was the emergency reading. This was the central theme, and here it comes again. And you saw that I shuffled decently well. Look at that.
Yeah, the bear appeared before. It was very, very strong in the last reading you did.
This is the middle column. She's freaking out about this. These are consequences that are going to chase her. They've been growing for a long time. And you know what I was thinking just the other day? That from the point that she started going over to Kuwait, like filming airports, I didn't know that was illegal to film airports, at least in the Kuwaiti Doha airport. I didn't know that was illegal, but in fact it is.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that you couldn't film in the airport. I had no idea. I know that the oil fields are highly illegal. I know that filming people without their consent is highly illegal, and filming children, which she's also done, is very, very bad. It's very illegal. She's done a lot of illegal things, and I'm wondering what that thumb drive has on it. Like, how many offenses are on that thumb drive? Y'all, let's feel sorry for the poor judge that has to look at all the evidence, because he's going to be shocked.
And from the beginning, she's been doing illegal stuff.
Yeah.
Shit talking people on very public platforms, filming oil fields, doing debaucherous stuff, if that's even a word, filming debauchery. Also, Salah is part of that as well, but I do believe that she's been filming like food fetish content or feeder fetish content for at least a few subscribers while she was in Kuwait. And I'm
Yep. Yep. Because believe it or not, y'all, yes, Chantal makes money on YouTube, true, but it's not the bulk of her income. The bulk of her income is from the feeders, like off YouTube stuff that we're probably never going to see. YouTube for a long time has been just a portal that she activates to get in front of people to act like, say, the Home Shopping Network. Like she advertises herself. Hi, I'm Foodie Beauty. I'm a big woman and I like to eat food. And if you like me doing what I do on YouTube, imagine what I could do for you off of YouTube. Like there might be sexy, fun time content mixed with the food, but she's got to open up the portal first to get in front of people to advertise her cameos, which, in my opinion, her cameos, that's just another way, the around the corner way to talk to the feeders without actually being on a actual feeder site. They can't. First, she's got to activate the portal. Then we're going to advertise the cameos. Some of the feeders go around the block to the cameo and talk to her off of YouTube, so she can do private content with them, and then add them to her private contact list. She might be talking to those feeders on WhatsApp because she's always constantly talking about WhatsApp and Telegram. So she's got a whole system set up of being able to contact the feeders and then talk to them. And they pay her X amount for X amount of content. Once upon a time, Foodie's entire income was YouTube, and you could tell because she was always brainstorming. What can I do to go viral? What can I do to get more views on my video? How can I make more money on YouTube? And then over the course of time, there was a shift. As more and more feeders were looking at her and contacting her, notice how she stopped really caring about YouTube. And that's because the bulk of her income is made off of YouTube. She resents the fact that on YouTube, she has to give up 30%. Like she's always trying to funnel the money around the corner to herself and get the biggest portion possible. She doesn't like sharing with YouTube. So she just simply uses YouTube as a portal to get the feeders in front of her and be in front of them and then go around the block and make her money with them. That's why her content turned to crap after a while, because she was focusing too much on the feeders off of YouTube, in my opinion.
getting that there's like an external hard drive or a hard drive somewhere in Kuwait around the fart box, if you want to call it that, that has these videos. And I don't know that she's intelligent enough to completely wipe those hard drives either. You know that just putting things in the trash on your computer doesn't get rid of everything entirely.
That's true. Just because you get rid of something and you delete it doesn't mean it's completely gone. Somebody that knows what they're doing can put things back together.
You need to know some stuff in order to completely wipe it. And I don't know that she's intelligent enough to do I don't know that she's in the emotional mindset right now to do the research to do that. Remember that her North Node is in Gemini, which means that's her life's challenge, is to do research, to do some digging into some topics that are of interest to her, to develop her intellect, to develop her communication styles. That's her challenge, and she has avoided that. So I don't see her as someone being able to avoid evidence of her lecherous behavior being pulled up by the Kuwaiti government. I do.
Even if she wipes that thumb drive clean, she throws some bleach and holy water on it. It's too late because she put enough on YouTube. And I'm sure Pause Kuwait has been sent things. So the evidence is there. It doesn't matter if it's a thumb drive of stuff that she left behind or stuff that she put on YouTube that has already been sent to somebody. The evidence is all over the place because the internet is forever. All the reaction channels have her stuff. Maybe there's worse stuff on that thumb drive. Maybe there's a sexy, fun time, yum yum stuff on that thumb drive, and that's what she left behind. But without that thumb drive of the sexy, fun time stuff, there's stuff on YouTube that the government's going to look at and go, what? This was going on? What? No, there's too much. It wasn't just like one thumb drive and that was it. Nah, there's a whole YouTube channel full of stuff that she can't get rid of.
Do feel like there's a hard drive somewhere that's going to be of some importance later on that both Chantal and Salah miss in their angst, in their urgency, in their deep desire to just get away from the situation and forget about it. They don't get to.
Nope.
This is a cycle that has repeated over and over in just tighter and tighter circles, and now they are chained to it. You can effectively see this ring as a kind of manacle, so to speak. These are consequences that have been growing now for almost 3 years, and now they have a bear to fight. Who wants to fight a bear?
Nobody. No one. Certainly not Chantal.
Okay. Taking one more from the top, we've got dog. And I seem to remember getting this in the other reading too, that they're going to be forced to obey these consequences. And that's kind of an ominous row in my particular opinion, my opinion, especially with this scythe. They're going to have to obey this sudden end of an era, cutting something off. They're not going to behave like consequences are going to be severe. There's the possibility of death for Chantal. Perhaps not at the hands of the Kuwaiti government. A while back, I did a...
I'm going to take that a different way. Like, I don't know about physical death and all that. I'm taking it a different way. Here's the way that I'm taking it. So, Chantal Marie, the person, created the persona Foodie Beauty for YouTube. An overblown caricature of herself. When she first came onto YouTube, she did not act the way she's acting now. And that's because the person, Chantal Marie, was still very much present. And she acted somewhat normal. Somewhat. But here's how I look at it. Foodie Beauty, the character, was created because of Chantal Marie having an unhappy life. Chantal Marie, the person, doesn't have any friends, doesn't go anywhere. Maybe she's had a life where she just wasn't what she wanted to be. She wasn't the popular kid in school. She didn't have a lot of friends. She didn't get a lot of attention. And so when she wandered onto YouTube, she got the attention and she started making money. And so she dove into this character, Foodie Beauty, and she lived in it full time. Here's the problem. Even professional actors and actresses, like say Keanu Reeves or I don't know, Barbra Streisand, you're playing a character on camera, but then after the camera is turned off, you go back to the dressing room, you take off your stage makeup, you put your clothes on and you go home and you are yourself. Chantal did not want to do that. She did not want to turn off the cameras and just have a life for herself, being away from people. Foodie Beauty, the character, had things that Chantal Marie did not. Foodie Beauty was popular in a sense, was getting a lot of attention, was making the money, had different aspects that Chantal Marie, the person, did not have. So she wanted to live full time in the character versus being a person. And by doing that, she lost a connection to herself and she just lost the plot. She did. As problems for Chantal Marie, the person, kept stacking up, the more she wanted to live in the character. as a way to distract herself from the problems that Chantal Marie, the person, had. There's like two personalities with Chantal. There's Chantal Marie, the person, and there's Foodie Beauty, the character. It, and they're too close together. And so the death of Foodie Beauty, to me, it feels like the death of the character, the breaking down of the ego, the breaking down of the false images and the false feelings and this false persona, that it's not healthy for her to live in that part. It's time to break it all down. It's time to get rid of it. It is time to just throw it aside and just be the person. And unfortunately for Chantal, this is what has had to happen for that to happen, because she is so stubborn, because she is so hard-headed. She was given all kinds of warning signs, but she did not listen, and she did not listen to her intuition. She cut herself off from it. So this extreme situation had to happen for her to get back in connection with herself. And maybe there might be some improvement, maybe, but the ego has to be blown up. It has to be obliterated. This false image has to go. And that is why all of these chain of events have occurred. And for the first time in her life, she's dealing with serious consequences that she cannot manipulate her way out of.
A reading. It wasn't like, it was a reading that I kind of stumbled over because it was my first time predicting somebody's death. But back in like late 2022, and I edited a comment in like early 2023, I saw Salah running the risk of harming Chantal to the point of death. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but it was something that stood out in my particular cards. Remember that honor killings are absolutely still a thing in those cultures. And unfortunately, you can see how that sometimes hops on over to the United States. If a woman steps out of line in a particular way, sometimes the male relatives of her in her family will do away with her. There's the risk that Salah could overreact to something and cause Chantal to possibly lose her life.
I don't know a whole lot about Kuwaiti law, but if Chantal and Salah are not really married, which I don't think they are, I don't know if the honor blanking would apply. Like if she's not really married into the family. Like I don't know if that would apply to her.
That's still very much up in the air. This is not set in stone. No reading is set in stone because as soon as someone makes a choice to go in a different direction, the energy of the reading changes. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There's still the possibility that she won't pass away at Salah's hands, but when he gets desperate, I'm getting from Spirit that he will overreact. And remember that it's just a misdemeanor to kill, murder a female member of the family. At least the last I checked in Kuwait. Okay? And I'll see in post production whether that's correct or not. In any case, they're going to be forced to obey whatever it is the law has in store for them, and it's going to end a lot of stuff for them. For Chantal, this is going to be a narcissistic injury the likes of which she has never felt even remotely before. She thought she went through humiliating things when she was younger. This is going to dwarf all of those experiences.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be absolutely massive. There's the chance that she might never come back online again. I'm getting from Spirit that she will, but in humiliation. She's not going, like, I'm wondering if she won't just do like private live streams for just her beezers, if you will. Those are still going to get leaked, but I don't know that she's ever going to have this exchange with Girl World again where she does something for Girl World at large, leaves up the video or the live stream for a certain amount of time, and then deletes. I don't know.
So it sounds like if we see Chantal again, it'll be Chantal. It won't be Foodie Beauty. Like the fake persona is going to be thrown out the window. Like she's going to be a bit more humbled. That's what it sounds like.
Know that that dynamic is ever going to be there again, because she's just going to have a it's a narcissistic humiliation the size of which she has never felt before. She's, for the first time, shutting up about this because she's terrified of the future. She knows she can't avoid this. This is going to erode everything that she has tried to build when it comes to romantic partnerships, when it comes to her platform on YouTube or wherever she may choose to move. This all gets eroded, and she's going to have no choice but just to go with the flow. No choice at all. She is figuratively imprisoned, and I wonder if she, again, if she didn't make it out of Kuwait. I am absolutely willing to be proven wrong there, but I keep getting the idea that she got stuck in Kuwait and that she desperately wants, like, she's been sending her energy. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. I looked at the chart around the time that she discovered that Pause Kuwait was sending her stuff, what she did to investigation with the Kuwaiti government. And I noticed that the moon was transiting through Cancer at the time. I want to go home is literally what that says. I want to go home. I want to go home. I don't know that she got to get to that point. I don't know that she could afford to get there. I don't know if that she had the support at in Canada to get her there, and I don't know that she's contacted a lawyer either. So she's just shutting up and staying frozen at this particular time. Salah, I feel like, is wandering, hopping between different friends' couches. He's trying to avoid being around Chantal, like when the law finally comes through. I feel like he's trying to not be in the area as much as possible. There's even the possibility that he could be illegally staying at some of the campsites around the area, literally trying to avoid her as much as possible. I don't know that they're even they are in contact with each other, but everything is just fraught with tension and emotional, like they can't talk logically with each other. They're just in a deeply emotionally freaked out place. This is not the energy of someone who has safely landed in Canada, is greened out, hanging out with family, because I, like other people pointed out, why hasn't Chantal gone live and saying, "I miss my little family back in Kuwait. I sure wish I could be there." This is not the behavior of someone who feels safe. And even if she didn't think that, even if she thought that she might be extradited, she might shut up then. But this is not the behavior of someone who feels like, and now I can be myself again. Okay. I'm going to take a picture of the card so that y'all can see it in post production. And then I'm going to reset everything. I'm going to come back with my two other questions. Okay.
One moment. Let's keep going. I just stopped to get a cup of coffee.
So, next, I'm using the Wildwood Tarot to help me describe her current emotional state right now as I'm doing this reading on June 14th here. Let me see. No. There we go. 3:30, you can't really see. Yeah, I don't know why I'm showing this to you. I'm sorry. It's Saturday 14th, the June 14th, as I'm filming this at 3:30 in the afternoon, Central Standard Time. What is her current emotional state right now? There are no reversals with this particular deck where something just flipped out. Page of Arrows. This is also known as the Page of Swords, and this is the Wren. Very, very tiny little bird. And it's also appearing just as winter is giving way to spring. But this, when you think about the Page of Swords, this is someone who has their eyes over their shoulder at all time. They're watching their back. So she does not, as we saw described earlier, she does not feel safe or secure. And that was a card that flipped out as I was shuffling, okay? Ace of Stones. The foundation of life, also known as the Ace of Pentacles, definitely looking towards new ways of creating cash, as you might imagine. This is interesting. I have the Ten of Vessels, and I said there are no reversals when I'm dealing with it, but I'm going to take this as it is. This is the Ten of Cups. Happiness. It's in reverse. Deeply unhappy. Little mythical family falling apart. And it's like she's not getting any support back home. It's like her family's saying, "You dug this particular trench. We told you not to go back. We told you this was a bad situation, and you went back anyways. Don't ask us to bail you out." And it looks like it's just super expensive right now for her or anyone in her family to buy a ticket, is what I'm getting from this. But this is about not having family support abroad or in Kuwait. Wherever she may be, she does not have family support. So desperately, she's trying to find something that will give her a financial foundation. But
I did a tarot reading on Foodie very recently, 4 wands, and I picked up her mom's energy. I did a reading on mom, and I wasn't disrespectful, but the first thing I picked up off of mom's energy, I felt this overwhelming sense of sadness. Mom is sad. Mom is very sad. And I feel like Foodie's troubles, it's causing trouble in the family household. Like, I've done readings on Shmi before, and another reading that I did on Shmi, the energy that I got at that time was she is someone that she loves to be home. Like, home is her happy place. She loves her home. Like, home is definitely her gonna be happy place. But right now, Foodie is, what's going on with Foodie is affecting things going on in the family home, particularly between mom and stepdad. Shmi is sad about the whole situation, and she's stressed out. Stepdad, he's not happy at all with Chantal. He's not happy at all. He is the rock that Chantal cannot move. Shmi loves her daughter, wants to support her, but there's only so much she can do. And Shmi feels caught in the middle between her daughter and her husband. And like it's causing so much strife there. So much strife. If Chantal had her way, she would manipulate everything she could out of Shmi, but stepdad is in the picture. And stepdad is not going to let that happen. But it is causing strife. Like, her troubles are bleeding over into other places and with other people. So I picked up that there's trouble everywhere. There's trouble with Chantal. There's trouble within her family. Like, I hear arguments. There's been arguments that have happened because of her. There's been fights. Shmi wants to be loyal to Chantal and take care of her daughter. And the stepdad is like, you need to let her learn to take care of herself. There's only so much we can do. We can't do everything. Oof, it's bad. It's real bad.
as we saw, like, she shut down her cameos. She's not filming anything for, publicly facing. She might be sending stuff like feeder content, but I also feel like she's in such an emotional state that she can't get into feeder content. I do feel like she is absolutely stuffing her face at every point that she can get. Entire, like, just emotional eating, but she's not filming feeder content for people who might want that, okay? So there are the cards. Once again, normally I don't put reversals into the Wildwood Tarot, but if something comes out reversed, I'm taking it that way, okay? In a state of deep unrest with the wren, that's a little bird that flits around places to places. From branch to branch, this is someone who is deeply emotionally unsettled. And also, arrows and swords are about mental, describe the mental state. This is someone who's very small minded, you might say. This is someone who is in a deep state of mental distress. Can't think straight, can't can't think too far into what could happen into the future because it feels like she flips out so hard and eats more than ever. But eating right now doesn't calm her down because she's starting to see how her savings is dwindling. I do feel like she put some money aside away from Salah's feud, and I feel like she's burning through that as fast as she can because she, or not as she can, but she's burning through it because she just eats it. Got the king.
I believe that. I mean, she is a food addict, and she's always turned to food for comfort. And if she's highly stressed, that means she's eating more than ever, although that's the last thing she should be doing. Because if she's running low on money and she can't make money, she cannot replenish the money that she's spending, can she? No. So it doesn't make sense to eat more than you should in a day if you don't have much money. You should be going the opposite way. You should be trying to cut down on your portions.
Of vessels, the heron. I feel like this is Salah's dad.
Oh, Dad.
Another bird, but from a different suite altogether.
You know what's funny? You're picking up Dad. I picked up Dad's energy. So did Sunburst Tarot and Neo Tarot. Dad is all over this. Dad is all up in it. And I feel sorry for you, Chantal, because Dad doesn't like you. He never liked you. And I don't know what his involvement is exactly, but understand, Chantal, that just as, say, your mother loves you and wants to care for you, so Salah's father wants to care for his son. His concern is for his son, not for you. And he's going to do everything in his power to help his son. His loyalty does not extend to you.
The King of Cups, if you will. There's someone who is coming to speak to her.
Uh-oh.
And it's...
Ooh, I want to be a fly on the wall when that happens. Can you imagine? Chantal dealing with Dad. Daddy. Oof. That's going to be a lot for her. Dealing with Dad. She's not going to like that conversation at all.
Interesting. I'm not the only one that's pulling that up. I feel like Salah's dad is going to come to speak to her. Sunburst Tarot said this. Neo Tarot said this. So mark it there, I guess. Take note. It's like Salah's dad is coming to Chantal to make a particular kind of offer. If you turn yourself over to the Kuwaiti police, I will try my best to make things easier for you. But your decision to do all of this together with my son and to run away from whatever it is, whether she's in Canada or Kuwait, is hurting my son. And he's going to do stuff to protect a family member. And even if that means that he encourages her to turn herself into the police, that's a possibility. And I don't know that she sees this coming. Again, she's looking over her shoulder at the wrong things. She's looking at the police coming, knocking to her door. She's not looking necessarily towards Salah's dad coming her way. That's interesting. Taking from the top, we've got the Great Bear or the Judgment card at this particular place.
You know, I just got something off before you pulled this card. She's afraid of Dad. She's afraid of facing Dad. Because I was on Twitter and I did see a picture of Salah's father. And I wouldn't want to be in front of him. He didn't look mean. The first word that I got in my mind when I saw Salah's father, when a picture of his actual father, is traditional. That's the first word that hit me, and it kept hitting me over and over. He's a very traditional man. He's very serious, but he's very traditional. Very grounded is his father. I've also heard that Salah's father is ex-military. So for anybody out there that knows anything about the military, they're very precise. They're all about precision and getting things done. Very strategic. That's what kind of man Salah's father is. He was in the military. He's very strong. He's got very strong energy. Like, this is the kind of man you get in front of them, you don't want to say any bad words, and you certainly don't want to make them angry. I just got this very strong, military, serious, traditional energy coming off of Salah's father. And for someone like Foodie, who's a brat, who's led her life without structure and discipline, and you're in front of somebody that they are about structure, they are about discipline, they are about tradition. Like, they are rigid, they are strong, they got so much strength. She's gonna be scared out of her mind. And if she gets in front of Salah's father, she's gonna be just she's not gonna be able to talk. You know, she's gonna be like a little girl in front of his father, because dad is going to just hit her with the offer and say, you better turn yourself in. And she's going to be shaking in her boots.
This bear is indicating that she needs to go into a place of deep meditation, or you can see this as imprisonment, indicating a place where she is not comfortable. I'm wondering if Salah's dad is not going to encourage her to accept some imprisonment time in exchange for her getting to get off a little bit more lightly, that he was going to talk to the authorities about how, like FFG said, you know, my son, he is not mentally acute. He does not have, like Neotero has described, that Salah has a bit of a cognitive delay. And I wonder if Salah's dad is not going to spin things in such a way that it makes things more soft for Salah, but it means that Foodie Beauty needs to submit. Again, we've got that bear, once again, needs to submit to the law and accept some imprisonment time until the investigation is over, until she has been considered to serve her time. I'm wondering if that's not going to happen here. This is something where she would absolutely chafe at the idea of being sent to prison, especially in a Kuwaiti prison. I'm getting that Canada would not imprison her, that in fact, if she is in Canada, and I'm starting to have my doubts, I'm wondering if Canada wouldn't extradite her. For real. I'm wondering if Salah's dad wouldn't talk to just her, but to the Canadian government in addition to the Kuwaiti government. I don't know the full situation. This is still absolutely not set in stone. The energy around the situation is very much up in the air at this particular point. There's a lot of possibilities that could happen, and when people make choices, that's when things become set in stone. But because there is so much confusion and emotional angst at this particular point with everybody involved, there are a number of choices that could be made that could all lead to like butterfly effect kind of events. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Somebody's celebrating deep, deep ecstasy. She's not coming back here yet. Oh, you can deal with that over there, cutie. Let us know how it goes.
Is that girl world?
She does not have support at home. They're tired of being used by her. Used and then thrown away. This is the energy of don't let the door hit you on your way out, bitch. People are celebrating her not being around them. You know that line in Fiddler on the Roof when the rabbi says, "May God bless and keep the czar far away from us. You know, it's kind of that sensation. May God bless and keep Chantal far away from us. Whoa, she's not here. Oh God, like, man, when somebody makes their bed and they have to lay in it, good grief. And I wonder if that isn't tying in again to why Chantal isn't going live or isn't putting out any recorded video right now. She is facing humiliation on top of humiliation. And it's letting the haters win at this point to go online, to release recorded content, because it would be giving them confirmation that indeed she is like triply, doubly, quadruply fucked. It doesn't matter, again, where in the world she is. These consequences are headed towards her fast. We've got the Seven of Bows clearance, moving things out of the way that no longer serve us. This is a picture of old bows being burnt and new bows being hewn, if you want to use an old-fashioned word, prepared for firing arrows. Salah's dad is saying, let's end this. Let's clear out an old era. You submit to the law, little page of arrows. Little no thinker, kind of like just a very, very small minded individual. Cannot think past her own nose, so to speak. This is someone who says, I'm ending this. No more. Now, what I do see in Foodie Beauty's natal chart is that she has Saturn in Scorpio. This is the energy of someone that you do not want to fuck with.
Yep. Like I said, I saw a picture of Salah's dad. He didn't look mean. He didn't have a mean look about him. He had a very serious look. Anybody out there, if you ever got in front of a very strong, serious person, you know how it could, like, forgive my language, it can almost scare you shitless. That was a look that Salah's father had. Very traditional man, very strong man, military man. You just get in front of him and you know you got to have all your manners. That is what kind of person he is. He is not someone to be tampered with.
This is that watery energy. Saturn in Scorpio literally means dad figures in her life who force her to fundamentally transform herself, whether she likes it or not. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head what the King of Cups is associated with when it comes to astrological signs. I'll put it in post. But there's a real possibility that there is that Scorpio-ish energy of, you fucked around with my family members and now I am coming for your ass kind of way. We're burning everything to the ground. Everything that doesn't serve gets moved to the side. And we're bringing in new ways of doing things because you, Salah and Chantal, have royally fucked everything up for us, our family.
Yeah, I just heard something in my head, a message from spirit. This is dad's thinking. This is war. Salah's father is angry. He is so angry at Chantal for the trouble that she's brought, not just to Salah, but himself and his entire family. And his thinking is, this is war. This is absolute war. This is such a mess. And how can I fix this? We need to fix this now. We need to do what we need to do to fix this now. Because it's not just affecting one person, this is affecting the entire family. This is affecting Salah, his sister, the dad, I don't know what other siblings he may have. It's affecting everything. So dad's going to find a way to fix all of this. And if he's going to go to Chantal and say, look, you can't stay here forever. You know this. You don't have enough money. You can't stay hidden forever. Maybe it might be better if you turn yourself in. And that way the consequences won't be so bad, rather than just you hiding out until you completely go broke and then you're on the street. Just do what makes the most sense.
Don't fuck with this King of Vessels.
No.
I fucking knew when I pulled out the Wildwood Tarot that this card was going to come out. This is the Devil card, the Guardian. This particular enormous skeleton is guarding the entrance to something deep. But first of all, the Querent, or in this case, Chantal, needs to be brave enough to realize that it is just a skeleton and that she can move past it. Because she shows up as the page of arrows, I don't know that she has the mental capacity to get past her own fears in such a way. Get past her own fears of being imprisoned, of facing the consequences, and of being forced to reckon with something that has been set in stone as soon as she started filming illegal behavior at the beginning of her visiting Kuwait, right? If she can move past that, then she might be able to come into a better spiritual place. That's also what this card is about. But I feel like she's just going to see this as imprisonment. I'm seeing her like crying, kind of like what Neo Tarot says. She is just too much of a little kid. She's not called Chantaler for nothing. She's too much of a little kid to get past this being natural consequences for her own behavior. And honestly, her family has not supported her when she was little. They did not support her in helping her learn, hey, when you break a plate, it's broken. You can apologize to the plate, but that does not put the ceramic plate or the glass plate, back together, okay? She never learned that lesson. And so as an adult, I'm getting that she's in like I got mad frenzy, emotional frenzy at this particular point, at the prospect of being forced to not just face the consequences, but possibly be physically imprisoned or placed under house arrest. I don't know how things work in Kuwait. I don't know what's going to happen next with her particular case. All I see is that she cannot escape the consequences. And I wonder if Salah's dad is not going to go retrieve her if indeed she is in Canada. Like,
Ooh.
I'm going to cut you a deal, but Canada is going to extradite you because the Kuwaiti government has put up enough of a case that Canada says, that's worth our trouble. We'll do that. Here you go. Take your fat cunt back. Pardon my French. There's the hermit, the hooded man. Solitary confinement, whether of your own choice or not. This is coming alongside the Seven of Bows, the Guardian. She's going to be forced to watch all her efforts being burnt away. Efforts at being something important on YouTube, somebody on YouTube being famous, carving out a life of ease and being able to just bees whenever she wants. She's going to watch all of that being carved and swept away, burnt away. And people are going to celebrate. You can't get out. Ha 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 ha, is what I'm getting from this particular row. She knows that going online is going to help people confirm that indeed she's in a bad state, in a bad way, that she's in a dead flat panic, and it's also going to confirm to people that she has serious consequences headed her way. Middle Eastern governments and their laws are not to be disrespected.
Nope.
And if someone does disrespect them, they do so at their peril. I seem to remember her lecturing another YouTuber who got caught in the Philippines about this exact same thing, but didn't take it seriously enough for herself. She's fucking stupid, is what I'm getting from the universe right now.
Yep, she is.
She is so fucking stupid that she can't see past her need to defy authority.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. She knows about Johnny Somali. She knows about the other people that have gotten in trouble being disrespectful streamers, going to other countries and being disrespectful to the people, to the country, to their laws, to their culture, to their way of being. She knows about them. She has known about them. And she didn't take heed. She didn't proceed with caution. She just took it in her mind as all those other people got in trouble, but I'm smarter than them. I'm smarter. I'm not going to get caught. And she got caught. She absolutely got caught. And she was in Kuwait for what, 3 years? 3 years doing all that nonsense. She, for a time, got away with a lot. And because she kept getting away with so much and there were no consequences because she wasn't under the microscope at that time, it just emboldened her to keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep doing more. Do the super chat goals, get the PayPal donations, get the fan sponsorships for the mukbangs, have people pay for everything in her life. And the catalyst was taking a kitten from its mother off the street. And the universe said, enough. Enough of this. Because what's going to be next, Chantal? What are you going to do next? The universe said, enough. No, ma'am. No, we're done with this. We got to stop you now. And she's been stopped. And I know that Chantal going through all this right now, I'm sure her way of thinking is, they're doing all of this to me. She's going to frame it that way in her mind, in her emotions. She's going to frame it as, they're all doing this to me. They're all against me. When really, the truth of it is, she did all of this to herself. She did all of this to herself. With every choice that she made, with every decision, every bad decision, she did this to herself. She started things and she ended things. It was all under her control. And I don't think she has it in her that she can look within and say, I did this to myself. This is my doing. I am responsible. I'm at fault here. She doesn't look at herself as she's the one to blame. She looks at everybody else. She's angry at those who are holding her accountable, but she's not going to hold herself accountable and say, like, I started it. I made that choice. I made that decision. It's everybody else's fault. She's the one doing the evil, but yet she's angry at everybody else for holding her accountable and making her face the consequences. Because I don't think she's ever faced serious consequences like this before. I think she's lived a life where she's gotten away with so much that nothing has ever happened before to make her straighten up. I don't know what happened in her childhood, but I don't think during her childhood growing up that she was ever made to face serious consequences. She just ran wild. She was just feral. But she's facing them now. And the death of a huge ego it's a painful thing.
She can't get away from that. She can't get away from that within herself, but she also can't get away from the consequences. When they finally come around to bite her, it is going to be so fucking massive that honestly, I don't know that she'll ever go online in the same way that she has in the past before. I think
If she does, if she comes back online, we're going to see a whole different person. We may never see Foodie Beauty again, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay if the ego dies. Her ego needs to die for her own benefit. That huge, overblown, arrogant ego needs to go. It needs to be thrown into the trash immediately because it's not doing anybody any good, especially her. That ego has been her own little personal tower that she walled herself up in. It became her comfort, but it also became her prison. It's not allowing her to grow. It's not allowing her to get in touch with her spiritual self, her intuition, who she really is. That's why it's got to come down and it's got to go. What we're witnessing is not just Chantal facing the consequences of her actions, but her own ego dying a very ugly death. If she comes back online, she's going to be a little bit more humble, I feel. We might be talking to Chantal, or we might be watching Chantal versus Foodie Beauty. And I'm fine with that. I am fine with that. If the death of the ego means no more arrogant, bratty, loudmouth, going out of her way to be offensive, to be shocking, to hurt people, go after people, I'm fine with that.
I think the humiliation, once again, is just going to be too much. Okay? Those are my cards from the Wildwood Tarot. I've got one more question, then I'm going to wrap up this particular reading. Be right back. So I think y'all are going to like this question. What does she really not want anyone in Girl World to know right now? We're going to pull out the Lenormand cards once again, and I shuffle until Spirit asks me to stop. We got mice once again. Destruction. She doesn't want people to know that her world is falling apart before her eyes. And the fact that she went on Cameo and I saw how swollen her eyes were, those could be a couple of things. She could be greened out in Canada, right? That could be organ failure. If indeed she is eating like never before, because it's the only way she knows how to comfort herself, and she still can't be comforted, then that's going to continue to progress her diseases more. And guess what? That's also what the mice card symbolizes, is disease.
Okay, I want to add this little side note in. This is stuff that Foodie has said about herself and her health. I do remember a few years ago that Chantal said, and I can't confirm because I'm not a doctor, I'm not her doctor, but she said that her liver was 3 times the size of normal. She also said that she had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And this was like 3 or 4 years ago that she said this. So her liver is enormous, according to her. And she's also got non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I saw the cameo question that Four Wands is talking about. Chantal did look very yellowish skin tone and appearance, which is concerning because that could indicate jaundice. Was it her real skin tone? Was it a filter? I'm not sure, but she didn't look very well. But I don't know if Chantal has disease of the liver or the kidneys. She might have severe kidney disease. Certainly, her liver's not in good shape. If she gets cirrhosis of the liver, I don't know if she has it, but cirrhosis is you get scar tissue on your liver. And if you get a lot of it, this could be deadly. Like all of her major organs are in trouble. She said that she had an enlarged heart. She's also said that she has a heart murmur. There are problems with the liver. There are problems with the kidneys. All of her major organs are in trouble. And she refuses to go to a doctor and get herself checked. So I don't know what her health is looking like, but if she is eating and eating and eating, that is not helping anything, nothing at all.
Slowly eating away at the health of something over time. I wonder if she doesn't want people to see how sick she is. Something else that a lot of people and myself saw, that she was very yellow in the one cameo that made it to the surface. That talks to me about liver, right? What is it? Bilirubin count? It's her liver isn't functioning properly if indeed she is so yellow. I'd like to look it appears indicating her hands, her fingernails. If her fingernails are continuing to show more signs of clubbing, if there's more, she doesn't want people to see how sick she is what I'm saying.
If her fingernails are becoming clubbed, that maybe could indicate heart problems.
And if she were to go online, you know what? I'm also getting that her foot might be in deep pain. Like I'm getting a picture of her foot and her toes being kind of purplish. Kind
Ooh.
of like she can't feel that foot or those toes anymore, quite possibly. I feel like if she isn't If Salah doesn't do things to accelerate her demise, then she is doing the work all by her damn self, dude. I'm wondering if she isn't a bit suicidal at this particular point. And she's just saying, I don't care. I just want to eat. And if it kills me, so what? It doesn't matter anymore. This is someone who is in a deep state of despair. I can't get out of this no matter what. She's mentally, emotionally shutting down. I'm getting like she's behaving just like an animal in the sense that they eat, they go to the bathroom, so to speak, and they eat and they go to the bathroom, and they just this cycle of doing the same very small number of things over and over again, like what we saw with the ring. Okay? Animus coming from the top. Someone is co-signing her destruction, and it's not just Salah, it's Salah's dad. Someone is saying, you can't do this to my family. You can't do this to my son. Yes, he fucked up, but you don't get to drag him down with you. Okay? Another bad card next to another bad card. Snake. I'll take a picture of this, but here I'm going to hold it up for you. I'm going to do a 7-card spread, and I think that, frankly, that's quite a bit of information right there. Deception. I don't feel like it's in Salah's dad's bones to lie, to be two-faced, to be deceptive at all. In some rings, the snake is about deep wisdom, but I don't feel like it's that case. I feel like this is Salah hiding who he truly is and lying, possibly to the authorities, and that accelerates her destruction further. He might say some things to get the load off his back that incriminate her further.
Well, Neo Tarot has done readings where she said that Salah is going to be talking. I don't know if it's on YouTube or off of YouTube, but he's going to be talking to somebody. If he's in trouble, which there's not just trouble for him, but it also means trouble for the family, he might do what he needs to do, and he might say what he needs to say to keep from getting in deep, deep trouble. He might be singing like a canary to the authorities and painting a picture of, I'm a victim. She led me into all of this. I didn't know what was going on. Like I didn't have really a big part to play. If remember that whole period when Salah was away from Chantal, how much y'all want to bet he's got text messages from her, he's got voicemails from her where she's acting unhinged? He might be holding on to all of that stuff. And if he's trying to paint a picture of Chantal as being predatory, as like manipulative, unhinged, he might use all of that and show that to the authorities and go, look, you see, I was just working for her and she was acting this way on top of the YouTube stuff, and paint himself the victim to not only get himself out of trouble, but also to keep trouble away from the family. Because it's not just about him, it's about the family too. Like the family name is very important over in the Middle East, and people just talk around the neighborhood. And so they're going to do what they need to do to protect themselves as much as possible. There's going to be no way he's going to get out of all the consequences, but he's going to be looking at it from the angle of, I got to save my butt. And so I'm going to be in survival mode, and I'm going to protect myself and my family. And if I got to tell lies, so be it. He will throw Foodie under the bus.
And cause her to be, I'm getting like that prison sentence once again with the Great Bear. It's possible that her prison sentence could be extended because Salah says things that the authorities are like, oh my God, we have to take care of this. This is just too big for us not to take care of this. And if indeed she is in Canada, his lies could be something that accelerate the process of getting her out and into Kuwait. to serve whatever punishment they've got in store for her, okay? She cannot avoid this. It is too late for her to change this. In many ways, there are many small choices that need to be made, but the overarching energy of this is that she cannot change the consequences anymore. She's got that manacle, that ring around her neck that she cannot take off because she has done too much.
Mm-hmm.
He has done too much, but he's also going to throw the blame onto her. We've got another bad card coming in from the top. Fox. This is Salah, not the energy of Salah's dad. I really do feel like Salah's dad is a good actor in this particular play, that he was just trying to keep his family safe. And the behavior of these two idiots is what is throwing everything about their family into a state of jeopardy. And he's not going to do that. That's not who this is describing right now. Deceptive, selfish, two-faced, that's not Salah's dad.
No.
That's Salah. Deeply selfish, is going to save his own hide and do what it takes to lie, deceive, in order to make that happen. We've got the dog card again. I'm going to do whatever you say. Whatever you say. Yes, that absolutely happened. It's like people are going to line up behind, like his family's going to line up behind him and say, yep, that happened. Yep, that happened, whether it genuinely happened or not. Because they're terrified for their own hides. Their status in the country is not as set in stone as they would like it to believe. And everything about Chantal threw that into a deep state of confusion and jeopardy, is what I'm getting. They want to relieve themselves of her as a burden. They want to relieve themselves of a burden. And Salah's going to do whatever it takes. Going to be, yes, I have a cognitive delay. Yes, she misled me into doing everything. Yes, she gave me all kinds of money to do as she bid. I don't have the mental ability to say no, because you kind of see where this is going. Salah's dad is going to get into Salah's ear and is going to say, if you just play your cards just right, we might be able to save ourselves, and I might be able to protect you, son. But you have to play with us, play our game, so to speak. And Chantal has to be completely out of this. Salah got really comfortable with the money that Chantal was bringing in, and he's going to have to sacrifice the comfort that she brought in order to start to free himself. How many negative cards do you think we're going to get? This is Whip. I know that this popped up in the previous emergency reading that I did earlier. And again, I'm going to take a picture of these cards so that you can see them. But this is like, he wants to punish her. Like, even though he went along with this, he's going to genuinely want to punish her, but he's going to make a show of punishing her even harder, because he wants to show how sorry he is to the Kuwaiti government. He wants to show how sorry he is to his family. And so he's going to show how fully divorced from her, how fully separate he is from her. And I don't just mean like divorce as in like, can you get divorced if you were never legally married? And maybe in their culture, I don't know all the ins and outs of that. But he's going to throw her on the bonfire, so to speak. He is going to absolutely throw her under the bus in order to save his own hide, and just be as fully obedient to family and the Kuwaiti government as much as possible, because he does have the ability. There's the risk that he could be deported, and there's the risk that his family, his dad specifically, could be demoted through no fault of dad's.
Yeah, so it's not going to be even if it's not a want to situation, if he doesn't want to do this to Chantal, he has to. He has to for himself. He has to for the sake of his family. So it's going to be a have to situation. At least that. I'm sure that Salah is angry at Chantal for bringing all this nonsense to him and his family. And I'm sure he's hearing it from the family right now. Like, can you imagine if all your family members are angry at you that you get involved with someone and they're causing all this ruckus on a major scale that they're having to deal with. People who had nothing to do with Girl World or Foodie, that they're being affected. Their jobs might be being affected. Their social standing in the community might be affected. The humiliation and embarrassment of the entire family, all because of somebody outside the family. So to save himself and to save his family, he's going to have to sing like a canary and make stuff up if need be.
Okay. So, whip and anchor, this is a punishment that is going to last and last and last. It's going to be very permanent for Chantal, at least in her mind. She's never going to forget this, okay? And anchor, it's interesting, lands on the house of the snake. She's going to try to deceive us, and she's deceiving herself right now about how serious this is. To this day, I've been seeing her like post as Sarah Lee 358, that she's continuing to say, I don't like something along the lines of I'm just being sued. They can't sue me or whatever. She still hasn't gotten it through her skull that this is well past the point of a lawsuit. This is a series, like years of crimes, and she's not gotten it to, like, she doesn't realize how serious this is. Now, this lands on the house of the writer, which is about news coming in quickly that she's not going to be able to avoid, and she's not going to be able to get out of the entanglement of the lies that Salah's going to put out there in order to protect his own hide. Honestly, I kind of thought that we kind of would have expected that. These are people who would have thrown each other under the bus as soon as it was no longer beneficial for them to be connected to each other. Frankly, Chantal is that same way, and she found someone who is willing to behave like she is, right? Natural consequences. Fox lands on the house of the clover. He and she are kind of taking this lightheartedly at this particular point. Like their selfishness, they're not fully feeling the whole situation. As emotionally upset and frantic as they are right now, as we kind of sussed out earlier, they're still not fully feeling the entire gravity of everything, of how serious it is, because there is stuff that the Kuwaiti government is going to discover that's going to throw it into a whole different level entirely. Again, that hard drive that I was talking about earlier that has stuff stored on it that Chantal is deeply ashamed about, that's going to come to the surface. And there's something else that she really doesn't want Girl World to know. Y'all were wondering, she speaks her mind all the time. What else could she possibly speak her mind about? And that's it. There's more stuff under the surface that she doesn't want to reach. And when it does, it's going to throw Girl World into a frenzy. Because it's just going to be batshit insane stuff, is what I'm getting. He lands on the house of the ship. This is a journey that he has been taking for a long time. This is a destination of sorts, a culmination of his actions. He's been a romance marriage kind of scammer now for a while. It might have been why his family kind of put him at arm's length. Again, when I did that relationship outcome for at the time, we didn't know that Salah was in the picture. Kuwait was not a word that we had in Girl World yet. I thought that was about Nader. But when I look back at that reading and it was about Salah, because it talked about a family that was in high places, specifically in education, didn't know that. But his family is in high places. So this is someone who, for a long time, has been accumulating behaviors that lead him to this particular spot. He was identified in that reading that I did back in 2022. I think it was like October 2022. These are consequences for his own actions, and he's still not fully comprehending what all could happen. I'm getting like he has like a certain breadth of knowledge that of things that could happen, but I don't think that he grasps how fully, completely serious this is. Or not, he doesn't understand completely yet. This lands on the house of the home or the house. Destruction behind closed doors, disease running rampant behind closed doors. It's also about filth, right? I feel like Chantal is just living in filth. She has completely let her home and herself go, I feel like Julia is unfortunately trapped with her, and I don't know that Julia is being taken care of at this time. I am praying for Julia's safety. That I'm getting that she hasn't been dumped on the streets yet, but there's a real possibility and risk that she could be. But Chantal has completely let herself go. She's not holding back on anything. She's not cleaning anything. She's not pretending to be like the little dainty housewife anymore, as if she wasn't filthy enough. It's like she has just gone crazy. Excuse me. This lands on the house of the tree. This is deception that has been growing for a while, that has its roots far into the past.
You know, like if Chantal is essentially on the run, I don't know if she would be at the apartment. I mean, if there are charges going to be brought against you, would you stay in the location where people know that you're at? I would think that she'd want to go somewhere else just to feel a bit safer.
Because Chantal, in many ways, has incriminated herself so fully, and because Salah is kind of like erred on the side of caution because it's his culture, Chantal just kind of like freeballing it in a culture she didn't understand. She doesn't get how he can really pile up lies against her to really, really build a case against her. This is also about the family tree also lying to protect Salah. Okay? They're all in on it. They're all playing a game to keep him safe, and they're throwing her under the bus. It's not just him, it's his whole family. This lands on the House of Clouds. This is about obeying and just not seeing. I refuse to see. I'm just going to do. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to do as I'm told to do. Dogs don't think too much past obedience, and that's literally what's going on here. Obeying selfishness. I'm going to save my own ass. Is in such a state of such a mental fugue, such an emotional frenzy that they can't see past. I'm just going to do this thing. It's frantic behavior. And I know I've already said that a couple of times. Last and not least, we saw that this landed on the House of the Snake. This is deception that is going to land her in serious hot water, and it's going to anchor her more firmly in a place where she doesn't want to be. Again, that would be Kuwait. Canada's not safe. It doesn't matter if she got away from that place or she got away to Canada. And again, I don't feel like she did. If I'm getting a picture of an extremely filthy, tiny apartment on a seaside, then she didn't get away. I'm not saying that absolutely she's not in Canada or anything like that. I don't want to negate anything that anyone feels like is happening because, again, we don't know yet. But I'm just getting from these particular readings that she never made it out of Kuwait. Okay? So I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm going to take a picture of these cards. I'm going to put it up in post-production. And folks, thank you for watching to this particular point. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you for the wonderful reading for Wands Divination. It was very informative and really enjoyed reacting to you. And for those of you that are on my channel, you've never heard of 4 Wands Divination, look down below in the description and you'll see the link for the original video and follow it back to 4 Wands Divination's entire channel and check out all of her readings and her content and leave her a comment, sub up to her and like the video. And thank you very much, guys. Really enjoyed doing this today. And maybe I might do one more thing for YouTube. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and post this to YouTube and just see what I feel like. And then I got to get busy working because tomorrow is move out day. So y'all take care and have a good one. Bye.